विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर् गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। Hare Krishna. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, we are in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, being Saturday evening in US time and Sunday morning in India time. So weekly once, we are in the fourth chapter now. We are going to finish the fourth chapter and start the fifth chapter. Otherwise, the other 5 days, we are in the 11th chapter. So we have 2 cycles in this Bhagavad Gita we are doing. So we finished 40 slokas in the fourth chapter, only 2 more slokas to finish. This fourth chapter is transcendental knowledge. So Krishna is teaching about the importance of this Bhagavad Gita knowledge itself. We are understanding. And Krishna is teaching us in this chapter that one should approach a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him submissively and get this knowledge. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshamti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So the reason is that when we get this knowledge, so then we will not be under any illusion or confusion and we will not have any doubts, nothing. We will be very clear in our life what we should do. We know everything very, very clearly. There will not be any questions, no doubts. Because this knowledge purifies our self. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is the purifier. That's what we studied in the last week in this sloka. What we studied, Krishna said that Nahi jnanena sadrisam pavitra mika vidyate. So there is nothing else is purer than this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. In this sloka number 38, in the 4th chapter we studied. Nahi jnanena sadrisam pavitra mika vidyate. There is nothing else is purer than this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Because in this world, in this material world, being identifying ourselves with the material body, because of material desires, we have all kinds of contaminations. Our body, our soul, basically the mind, senses, intelligence, they are all contaminated by, infected by these diseases. Basically, kama, krodha, all such things. Kama yesa, krodha yesa, rajoguna, samudbhavaga, mahasana, mahapapma, vidyena, miga vairina. Because of such things, we are getting so much attached to material sense objects, and they cover our real knowledge, and then we act like fools. Because without having any knowledge about our own self and identifying ourselves with this body and thinking that this material world is permanent. This material world, it's temporary, but we always think that it is permanent. In our day-to-day activities, when whatever we are doing, always we have the mindset or thinking that we are going to live here forever. With that mindset only we are doing all the activities. We don't even think that we are going to lose this body. We are going to die. We are going to lose everything. So that part we forget all the time. One may ask a question, if we remember that, then we cannot even do our daily activities. If anyone thinks about death all the time, if we can think about ourselves dying all the time, then we cannot do our activities, day-to-day activities. But the problem is that the other thing also is not correct. Like not even thinking, not even understanding, realizing that we are going to die. We are going to lose everything. So thinking that this is permanent. So doing all these activities. At the end, if we just think about all the activities, what we are doing every day or what we have done in the past, so everything is just, if we have not purified ourselves, if we have not purified our soul, so that means we must have committed so many sins in the past. So then we are bound so much into this material world. We are entangled so much into this material world. So if we consider right from the birth and right now at this age, whatever age we are having right now, everyone is having right now. So whether we have liberated ourselves or we are in the process of liberating ourselves, or we are in the process of binding ourselves more into this material world. So that's a very important question mark we need to ask. Are our activities are freeing up ourselves from this material world, or they are binding us more into this material world? If you ask that question, how can we find the answer to that question? If you never got angry, if we never got upset about anything, if our mind was never disturbed at any point of time in our life, if we never got angry, so that means all the activities what we have done in the past, they are actually liberating us. They are actually freeing us from this material world, material body. But if we were very stressful, our mind was very disturbed, and we were not happy, all such things, if we explain like that, ourselves more into this material world. If we get angry, we are binding ourselves more into this material world. The reason we get angry because we are attached to material sense objects. That's why we get angry. If you don't have attachment to anything in this material world, we will never get angry on anything. Because if there is kama, there is krodha. If there is no kama, there is no krodha. So kamesa krodesa rajoguna samudbhava. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodo abhijayate. So if we say that all the time we were very peaceful, very happy. If our mind was very peaceful and very happy, so that means we are liberating ourselves from this material world. But if we say that I'm very disturbed, I'm not happy at all, so that means we have attachment to material sense objects. That's why our mind is disturbed. That's why we are not very peaceful. So that's why we are not happy. So that means we are binding ourselves more into this material world because of our attachment to material sense objects. So this is a very easy test to understand whether we are actually doing everything for Krishna or for ourselves. If we are doing all the activities for Krishna as an offering unto Krishna, so then we won't be worried about anything. We won't be disturbed by anything. We will not be troubling ourselves at all. We'll be able to plan everything very well, very nicely. We'll be able to do everything for Krishna very nicely with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge purifies ourself, the soul. It liberates us. It liberates us from this material bondage. So we can go to Krishna as well. So that way we can lead a peaceful, blissful, purposeful life, and we can do everything with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita very nicely, without worrying about anything, very correctly, and no need to worry, no need to get stressed, no need to really suffer or struggle in this material world. So then that means we are eligible. We will become eligible to go to Krishna as well if we are able to achieve that status in our life. So that is called the yoga status. If we achieve that status of not getting disturbed by anything in this material world, always equal to everything, always happy. So nirasir yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha sariram kevalam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. So prasannatma, brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakanksati. Samaga sarvesu bhutesu madbhaktim labate param. So we need to elevate ourselves to that status, that prasannatma. Prasannatma means very happy atma, very happy soul. So one who is situated in the Brahma Bhuta, one who has realized the Brahman, one who has realized that we are not the body, we are the soul. So we are not connected to this material world. There is nothing there for us to do in this material world. We have to forget about everything in this material world. Because ultimately, all our connections, attachments, and everything in this material will only bring us suffering. So that way, if we elevate ourselves to the Brahma Bhuta, means we can find happiness only within ourselves, not with external material sense objects. We don't have to worry. We don't have to go after the results. We don't have to think about the results. We don't have to really so much attach to the results. So we just do for Krishna without expecting any results. Do everything as an offering unto Krishna very nicely, very sincerely, very seriously. Put all the efforts, very sincere efforts, and do everything for Krishna without getting ourselves affected by the results. That means without having any attachment to the results. So that way, if we are able to act for Krishna in this world, we are actually liberating ourselves from this material bondage. So that is called Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When we are able to achieve that kind of status, so when we are able to find happiness within ourselves alone, when we are not seeking external material sensory happiness, so then at that point of time, there is no need for us to lament about anything. There is no need for us to worry about anything. And also there is no need for us to desire about anything. We don't have to desire anything. So that's what Krishna said, nasochati. That's why Krishna said that nasochati nakankshati. Very important word. Nasochati means one who neither laments, nakankshati, or one who not desires. So who is not lamenting, not desiring anything in this world. So that's what is Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta prasannatma nasochati nakankshati. So at that point of time, everyone will be equal to us. We cannot say that he is enemy, he is my friend, or I like him, I hate him, nothing. At that time, everyone will be equal to us because we don't have any desires to enjoy the material sense objects. Our only desire is to please Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, to serve Krishna. So, if we are able to elevate ourselves to that platform, so that means nasochati nakanksati means samaga sarvesu bhuteshu. We will be able to show, we will be equal, able to be equal to all living entities. As Krishna himself said that, samoham sarva bhuteshu. So Krishna said that samoham sarva bhutesu. Here, samaga sarveshu bhutesu. In one sloka in the 9th chapter, Krishna is teaching us that samoham sarva bhutesu name dvesyo asti na priyagam. I am equal to everyone. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. Samoham sarva bhutesu name dvesyo asti na priyagam. So similarly, when we are not attached to material sense objects, when we are connected to only Krishna, so then we will be able to elevate ourselves to the Brahma Bhuta platform. So then we can be the happiest person in this world, and we will not lament for anything, nasochati, and we don't have to desire also anything materially speaking. Because all our needs, material needs, will be fulfilled by Krishna's mercy. Everything will be nicely taken care by Krishna. That's what we need to understand. Krishna takes care of everything. So at that point of time, we don't have to treat anyone as friend or enemy. We can treat everyone equally. That's what samaga sarveshu bhutesu. Sugrunmitrari udasina madhyastha dveshya bandhusu sadhusvapicha papesu samabuddhi visishyate. That's what is called samaga sarveshu bhutesu. Samaga sarveshu bhutesu means being equal to everyone, means samabuddhir visishyate. One should be able to treat everyone equally. Sugrun, Mitra, Ari, Udasina. Sugrun means well-wisher. Mitra, friend. Ari, enemy. Udasina. Udasina means neutrals. Sugrun, Mitra, Ari, Udasina. Madhyastha, mediators. Madhyastha. Dveshya, Bandhusu. So, Dveshya, Bandhusu, relatives. And Dveshya, our enemies. So, Dveshya, Bandhusu. Sadhuswapicha papesu. Sadhus, the saints. Papesu, the sinners. Samabuddhi visishyate. So one should see everyone equally. That's what samabuddhi visishyate. So that's what samaga sarvesu bhutesu. So Brahma bhuta prasannatma nasochati nakangsati samaga sarvesu bhutesu mad bhaktim labate param. So he will attain love, devotion unto me, the supreme devotion unto me. Mad bhaktim labate param. That's what Krishna is saying. Madbhaktim labate para. So now Krishna has cast us mercy. We are getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Because we will be able to elevate ourselves to that Brahma Bhuta platform only by getting this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. By understanding this Bhagavad Gita. By fully understanding this Bhagavad Gita only we can elevate ourselves to the Brahma Bhuta platform. So this knowledge is the key. We need to understand. We need to know this Bhagavad Gita fully, very well. So by Krishna's mercy, we are studying and understanding this Bhagavad Gita. So what we are studying in the 4th chapter, last week we studied in the sloka number 37 to 40. In the sloka number 37, Krishna said that, Yathaidamsi samittognihi vashmashat kurute juna jnanagni tagda karmani vashmashat kurute tatha. So, Yathaidamsi samittogni. Firewood, blazing fire burns the wood into ashes. The forest, we see that big, huge forests are becoming ashes by the fire. So, similarly, the fire of this Bhagavad Gita knowledge will burn all our reactions into ashes. So that's what we studied in the 37th sloka. And then in the 38th sloka, Krishna said that, Nahi jnanena sadarsam pavitram iha vidyade tat swayam yoga samsiddhaga kalena atmani vindadi. So compared to this knowledge, this is what sadarsam. Sadarsam means when compared to this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. So nahi means nothing else is purer. That's what pavitram iha vidyade. There is nothing else which is purer than this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. So that means this Bhagavad Gita is the purest knowledge. Krishna is saying that there is nothing else which is purer than this Bhagavad Gita. So that's what Nahi jnanena sadarsam pavitram iha vidyade. Tat swayam yoga samsiddhaga kalena atmani vindadi. So if we get this knowledge, that's what we are getting. That's what we are studying every day. We are understanding. So during the due course of time, we will be able to enjoy this knowledge. So in fact, it's really giving us so much enjoyment, so much happiness. That's why every day we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. So then in the next sloka what we studied, Krishna said that, the very famous sloka which I quoted many times in the past, Saddava labate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriyaha jnanam labdva param santim nachirena adigachati. So a faithful person will get this knowledge. Saddhavan labate jnanam. And tatparaga samyatendriyaha. He will be able to control the senses. When we get this knowledge, we will be able to use this knowledge. We will be able to apply this knowledge. And when we apply this knowledge, use this knowledge, we will be able to control our senses. And when we control our senses, jnanam labdva param santim achirena adigachati. We will very quickly get the supreme peace of mind. Param santi. Then we finished with the sloka 40. Krishna said it. Agnyascha asraddhadanascha samsayatma vinasyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukam samsayatmanaha. So a person who is ignorant and who has no faith on this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, so he will be destroyed. For such a person, for such a doubtful person, not only in this world, even in any other world also, he won't be happy at all. So the happiness comes. So what Krishna said, what the word Krishna used, Sukham. Nayam lokosti naparo na Sukham. Na Sukham means no happiness. So Sukham comes only asantasya kuta Sukham. When there is no peace of mind, where from happiness comes? So happiness comes only when our mind is peaceful. So when we are going to get that peace of mind, Jnanam Labdva, when we get this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we are going to get the supreme peace of mind. Jnanam Labdva Param Santim Achirena Adhikachati. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge brings us peace of mind. That peace of mind brings us happiness. So if a person is doubtful, if a person is a doubtful person, that is Samsayatma. So for such person, since because he is doubting this Bhagavad Gita, he has no faith on this Bhagavad Gita, no Shraddha. So for him, he will not get this knowledge. So that means he will not get the peace of mind. So that means he will not be happy at all. So in the next sloka, what we are studying today, in the sloka number 41, Krishna is teaching us that Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Jnana Samchinna Samsayam Atmavantam Na Karmani Nibadnanti Dhananjaya. So one who is able to renounce all the fruits of activities with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Yoga Sanyasta Karmana. That means one who performs all the activities as an offering unto Krishna. That's what is called Yoga Sanyasta. Sanyasta means you are renouncing. Karmana means the fruits, the results of activities. So you are giving up the results. So you are giving up means you are offering the results unto Krishna. So that's what is Yoga Sanyasta Karmana. Jnana Sanchinna Samsayam. So with the weapon of knowledge, you are destroying all the doubts. That's what Jnana Sanchinna Samsayam. Sanchinna means you are cutting into pieces. All the doubts are cut into pieces. Atmavantam, one who is situated in the self. Na karmani nibandhanandi dhananjaya. No activity is going to bind him. So karmani is, his activities are, the karmani is not na nibandhanandi. Na nibandhanandi means it's not going to bind him. So whatever activities we do, it is not going to bind us. So that's what Krishna is saying. So now in the next sloka, in the sloka number 42, Krishna is continuing that Tasmat Jnana Sambhutam Kritastam Jnana Sinatmanaga. So Tasmat Jnana Sambhutam Kritastam Jnana Sinatmanaga Chitvainam Samsayam Yogam Atisto Tista Bharata. Therefore, Tasmat Ajnana Sambhutam, which has arisen because of ignorance. Ajnana Sambhutam, which is born of ignorance. Hritastham, in the heart. So, Jnanasinatmanagam. Chitvaidam Samsayam. So, what has arisen in the heart born of ignorance? Samsayam. Samsayam means the doubts. Therefore, the doubts which are born of ignorance in the heart, which are born in the heart due to ignorance, so with the weapon of knowledge, you just slash them, destroy them. So jnanasinatmanaga chitvainam. Samsayam yogam atisto tista bharata. So you be situated in yoga. So just get up and fight. That's what yogam atisto tista. You get up. So stand up. So that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. So this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the weapon of knowledge. With the weapon of this knowledge, jnanasinatmanaga, we should cut all our doubts into pieces. That's what Chitvaitam, so Chitvainam Samsayam. So we are going to start the 5th chapter today in the next sloka, the sloka number 5th chapter, 1st sloka. So successfully by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have finished the 4th chapter today. And in the next chapter, Arjuna is asking question. So Arjuna is very attentively, he heard everything what Krishna said. And now Arjuna is asking question. What question Arjuna is asking? Arjuna Uvacha. So we need to understand very important thing, which I have told many times in the past. Very important thing we need to understand. whenever Arjuna asks a question, he actually asks where Krishna lives. Krishna is explaining everything very nicely, very elaborately, clearly. We understand completely. And when Krishna stops, wherever Krishna is stopping, from that point only Arjuna asks the question. So, what did we study? Just in the sloka number 41, Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Jnana Sanchinna Samsay. Atmavantam na karmani nibandhanandi dhananjaya. That's what Krishna said. So here, Krishna has used the word sanyasta. Sanyasta means renouncing. So, renouncing the work. Arjuna always wants to renounce his fighting. He doesn't want to fight. He already told Krishna. He told Krishna that Govinda, I shall not fight. Nayotse iti Govindam. Because here Krishna has used the word yoga sanyasta karmana. So, sanyasta means you renounce. But Krishna is actually asking Arjuna to renounce the work, renounce the fruits of activities. But here Arjuna is going to talk about what if I renounce my activities? If I don't work at all, then I'm freeing myself up. I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. So that's what Arjuna is bringing that question here again. Like in the 3rd chapter, he asked the question. When Krishna said very clearly in the 2nd chapter that the karma, buddhi, you act with intelligence and all such things. And Arjuna told it, if you think intelligence is better than fruitive activity, then why do you want me to engage in this costly warfare? Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tad kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi kesava. Then Krishna has to spend the entire 3rd chapter to explain him about what is karma, karma yoga. So now Arjuna is again bringing the similar question, same question. He will not leave until the 18th chapter also. So Arjuna is asking the question here. Arjuna vacha sanyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samsasi yachreya yetayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. So sanyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samsasi. In the beginning, you also taught me about sanyasam karmanam. So sanyasam karmanam, that's what Krishna is saying, that yoga sanyasta karmanam. So yoga sanyasta karmanam, sanyasam karmanam. So here karmanam is activities. Sanyasam means renouncing all the activities. Karmanam is the fruits of the activities. Krishna is talking about renouncing the fruits of activities. Here Arjuna is talking about renouncing the activities themselves. So that's what sanyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha samsasi. Krishna has used the word yoga sanyasta karmanam. Krishna has used the word yoga and sanyasa karmanam. Both Krishna has used. So here Arjuna is asking Krishna, you are talking about yoga, performing yoga. So that means karma yoga. Yoga means karma yoga. Are doing our activities without any results, without any attachment to the results. So that's what is called yoga. So then Krishna is also using the word sannyasa. Yoga sannyasta karmana. Yoga sannyasta karmana means you perform your activity and give up the results. Sannyasta results. But here Arjuna is asking Krishna that sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha samsasi. You are asking me to renounce the activities and again you are asking me to do the activities, renounce the results. So I am confused now again. You tell me for certain only one. Yachreya yetayor ekam. So even the same thing in the 3rd chapter, 2nd sloka also Arjuna said that. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhi mogayasivami tadekam vada nischitte yena sreyo aham apnya. You just tell me one by which I can be benefited. Here also he is saying that yachreya yetayor ekam tanme bruhi sunishchita. You tell me only one by which I can benefit, which is good for me. So now in the next sloka, this 5th chapter is again very, very nice chapter with so many nice, wonderful slokas. We are going to understand a lot. So in the next chapter, Krishna is saying the next sloka, the 5th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sanyasaga Karma Yogascha Nisreyasa Karavubau Tayostu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yogo Visishyate. Because Arjuna is asking the question about renouncing the activities. So renouncing the works itself. But Krishna is saying that sanyasaga karma yogascha. So sannyasa means renouncing the work. Karma yoga means performing the work and renouncing the results. So nisreyasa karavubhav. So both of them will lead to liberation. Both. If you renounce the work, also will lead to liberation. If you renounce the results of the work, also will lead to renunciation, liberation. Both will lead to liberation. So one is the way of worshipping impersonal Brahman and all those things, not doing activities, sannyasa, everything. That is jnana yogena sankhyanam. The other is karma yogena yoginam. So performing the activities, doing the results, rendering devotional service unto Krishna and offering the results unto Krishna, not getting ourselves attached to the results, all such things. Ourselves getting attached only to Krishna but not to the results. So offering all the results unto Krishna. So Krishna is saying that both will lead to liberation. Nisreyasa karavubhav. But tayostu karma sannyasat karma yoga visishyade. Out of these two things, compared to renouncing the activities, performing the activities and giving up the results, that's what is better. Karma yoga visishyade. Like you can touch your nose like this, very quick. And you can also touch your nose like this. That's very difficult. So that's what I always give the example. So if you want to go from one place to another place, for example, you want to go from like 100-kilometer distance only, that distance is there from south to north. That same distance, you can actually, in the southward also, if you go, you can go around the globe and you can come to that place, or you can just 100 kilometers, you can just go straight. So which is very quick. So like that, here, worshipping Krishna, rendering devotional service unto Krishna and doing everything for Krishna, that's very quick. So otherwise it's a very klesho adhigataras tesam. So it is very troublesome. Klesho adhigat avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta gati dukkham. All those things, it's very difficult. So that way Krishna is recommending actually to do karma yoga. That's what we need to understand. So the sannyas yoga, again in the 6th chapter, very famous sloka, the first sloka which I always refer. Krishna is very clearly saying that anasridaka karma palam karyam karma karotyaga sasannyasi cha yogi cha naniragniki na chakriyega. Anasridaka karma palam, one who is not attached to the results of the activities. Karyam karma karotyaga is performing the activities. One who performs all the activities without any attachment to the results. He is a sannyasi, he is a yogi. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasi, he is a yogi. So the real sannyasi, according to Krishna, is one who performs the activities but giving up the results, not having attachment to the results. So he is a sannyasi, he is a yogi. So that way Krishna is teaching us very nicely. Successfully by Krishna's causeless mercy, we finished like 2 slokas in the 5th chapter today. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.